Living on campus might be different than the living situation you're coming from. You might have some nerves about what it's like to live with someone you don't know. This is normal, and we're here to help you. As you saw when you filled out the housing application, you probably remember the roommate profile and roommate group selection. We do our best to match you with roommates that fit the profiles that you filled out. You also have the ability to preference a roommate or be included in a roommate group. While you may submit all of these preferences, they cannot be guaranteed. But we normally do a good job of placing roommates. There's no exact science, and really, it's a little bit of expectation setting that can make a great roommate for just about anyone. Here's a few tips to help you prepare for life in the residence halls with a roommate. Tip number 1, talk to your roommate. Get to know each other before you move in. Discuss who's going to bring what and what kind of things bother you. When you realize that there's a behavior that does bother you from your roommate, speak up. Many roommate disagreements that we see are easy to clear up when the roommates talk to each other face to face. While it can be tempting to text or DM your roommate when something's bothering you, there's a major loss of nonverbal communication, and we all make up this voice in our head that doesn't always tell the correct story. I want to give you an example. I'm going to type a message across the screen, and I want you to use my voice to understand this message. Did you hear it like this? I see you're out. You didn't tell me Kev was spending the night. Or did you hear it like this? I see you're out. You didn't tell me Kev was spending the night. In this example, the message can be interpreted as me being upset with my roommate for not telling me that their friend was going to spend the night. Or it can be interpreted that I'm really excited for their friend to come and spend the night. Depending on how my day's been, my current mood is, and my general feelings toward my roommate, I'm given a lot of opportunity to fill in the tone, the nonverbals, and the story that might lead to a misunderstanding and miscommunication. This misunderstanding or miscommunication could lead to a tougher conversation down the road. This is why it's really important to talk to your roommate face to face. Tip number 2, set boundaries. Seriously, no one is okay with anything all the time. Be clear and take your roommate agreement seriously. When you say, I'm okay with my roommate sharing my food, are you okay with them eating all of your food without asking while you're away? Probably not. Good boundaries make good roommates, especially when the topic is awkward or taboo. So I'm going to say it here first, but you'll hear it again, don't you worry. You do not have to be best friends with your roommate. In fact, most roommate situations don't end up in best friendships. Tip number 3, compromise will be key. When living in community, you'll find that everyone has different wants and needs. Consider if you have any non-negotiables. How can you make them negotiable? With so many different people living in close proximity, you may find that your routine will need to change. And while that might feel uncomfortable, please remember this. Everyone's going to be going through this with you. It's a great time to practice tip number 1. Talk to your roommate. Also, talk to your floor mates. Talk to your neighbors. Talk to everybody, especially when something comes up that you're uncomfortable with. Tip number 4. Smiles are contagious and everyone likes to talk about themselves. Okay, real talk. Making friends can be hard. At CSUMB, there are so many new friends to meet. You might not know people when you first arrive, but you can easily change that. Alright, I'm going to say it again. Making friends can be hard, but it doesn't have to be. Start small. Smiles are contagious. Don't believe me? Go smile at some strangers. See how many smiles you get back. A little secret about getting to know other people. Most people really like talking about themselves. Now, there are some exceptions, I'll give you that, but here are a few starter questions to get your conversations going. You can, in meeting a new person, ask, what made you decide to come to CSUMB? This will give you stories that you can compare and contrast. You might find some interesting factoids about the other person that you want to ask more questions about. What clubs are you excited to attend? Or, what were you involved in your last school? What do your shoes say about you? And what is something that you do that you can teach others? Tip number 5. Your roommate may not be your best friend. This is a reality, and we're not telling you this to be a bummer. Actually, it's quite the opposite. While some roommates do become fast friends, it's more common for roommates to become intimate acquaintances. Through boundary conversations, asking questions, and learning each other's habits, many roommates become very happy, comfortable, and compatible living with each other, while they form close relationships with other students in their residential communities, classes, and maybe in a club that you join, or a person that sits next to you in the dining hall. By letting go of the notion that you have to do everything with your roommate, you're allowing yourself to meet other otters that are just as excited to meet you as you are to meet them.